Hello, I'm Ayden.
And I'm Josh. Welcome to Undead Ramblings, where we talk all things Call of Duty Zombies, amongst other games, movies, and other media.
This is the 14th episode of our podcast, which we're recording on the 8th of July 2025. Last episode, we went to the lands between and discussed our initial thoughts on Elden Ring Night Rain, so feel free to go and check that out if you haven't, as well as any of the previous episodes. And thanks to everyone who has watched and supported the channel so far. Speaking of the channel, if you haven't already done so, please like, share and subscribe. Josh is nearly at 8,700 subs. So I've set the goal to reach 9,000 by the end of the year. I think that's very achievable.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And lastly, Josh and I want to give a special shout out and thank you to Trikovioz, or Trico, and his brother DTA Escobar, or Oscar, who helped us with getting the Easter egg footage for today's episode. Trico's Bluesky and Twitter handle, or X, if you want to be that specific. His links to his social media should be in the description down below, so go give him some love and tell them that you came from us.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to butt in there real quick and say we wouldn't have been able to do it without them, would we?
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys came in at the last second, really helped us out. And you might see some more of them on our footages in the future, being as they're happy to do the Shangri-La Easter egg with us, as well as some of the other 4-player Easter eggs. So keep an eye out for them. I think they're going to be regulars.
It certainly looks that way, doesn't it? Honestly, though, like I say, in all seriousness, we really appreciate the help. What we said, sorry.
Yeah. No, nothing. I was just going to hand over to you for any channel updates and the gaming news.
Alright, well, for channel updates, again, as always, not a whole lot. We've started uploading the soundtrack again for Black Ops 6, which you might have seen over the past couple of days, so we're still continuing with Terminus at the minute, but I believe that's coming to a close if I remember what's on the soundtrack. So we should be moving on to Liberty Falls in the near future, and then hopefully every map onwards from that point, because there's no map this season, is there? So it's probably just going to be, might jump straight into Shattered Vale, but we'll see once we get there. Beyond that, we're also uploading our streams from Twitch if you want to check that out. So we've uploaded 2 of them so far, which is Dark Souls and Elden Ring. The Dark Souls one I would highly recommend watching. That one was quite a fun one to do, wasn't it?
You say fun, like it was the most obnoxious boss. Like it was, for those of you who don't know, it was the Bed of Chaos, which is easily the worst boss in Dark Souls, and I think you and I were having a pretty miserable time of it.
Yeah.
But it was it was particularly the end point when you finally got in to actually like kill it, and you're like, "That's it. That's the whole thing."
Yeah. I was gonna say it was one of those fights that was that I would have thought I would describe as it's fun to watch, but it was horrible to actually participate in.
yeah, for real.
We certainly had to take a few tries at it, didn't we?
I think we spent like nearly an hour actually fighting the damn thing.
I just could not get my dodge rolls down, as you'll probably see in the footage. And if it wasn't doing that, I was being cheated by the the swing that never actually happened on your screen. Yeah, it apparently knocked me flying.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be a regular thing. Like, if you want to... Josh will usually give it an update on, or like put a channel community post on when we're going to be doing streams. So if you want to come in and say hello and like have some fun with us, then feel free to join us when we actually do stream, and then Josh will upload the VOD later on.
Aye, absolutely. Again, the link for Ayden's Twitch is in the description if you want to check that out. We were planning on leaving a message about the previous one, the one we were just talking about, Dark Souls, but because we were also still looking for players for Ascension at that point, I didn't want to, override that, I guess, with the with the Twitch stream, so I thought I'd leave it out on this specific one, but it won't be the case for future ones. Or at least, if it is, I'll be sure to upload it and in a different post and leave a link to it. But yeah, so beyond that, we've got some gaming news this week, which is, well, it's not all good news, is it?
No, not really.
We've got Helldivers 2 and Black Myth Wukong, which is coming to Xbox this week, I believe. I'm assuming it.
I don't know if they're coming. I don't know if they're coming to it this week. I just know that they're coming to it soon. That's my bad description in the in our document. Yeah, no, I just saw that when I was loading up my Xbox, that both of them were up for pre-order. Which I think both of them were PlayStation exclusives at one point, or at least PlayStation and PC. But it's nice to see that they're both coming to Xbox. I'm looking forward to Black Myth Wukong, and Helldivers 2 I've seen all over my like TikTok and such. With a lot of funny videos, so I'm kind of looking forward to that one as well.
I do own Helldivers 2 on PlayStation, but I've never tried it. It's one of those ones that's sitting gathering dust. I don't know if it'll have cross-platform or whatever on it, but if you want to try it at some point, I'd be down to give that a go.
Oh yeah, for real.
Alright, sounds good. Into the more negative end of the spectrum, though, we have some Xbox layoffs recently. Now, a lot of them, I'll be totally honest, are not games I'm familiar with so much. But I still think, obviously layoffs, whenever they happen, it's never good news, is it?
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm kind of funny on it because I do find that some of these studios are so over bloated that games just end up like getting so muddied because you got so many different people. It's like the saying goes, like too many cooks spoil the broth. And I think some of these studios definitely do need to downsize. Well, as callous as it sounds, it does suck when people lose their jobs, but like, as a customer who cares more about quality games, I'd much rather see studios become a bit more streamlined, if I'm going to be real with you.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I mean, like you say, it's never good when people are losing their jobs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, but, yeah. As I said, it does suck, and I do really feel for them. But like, that's like part of the reason why video game companies are like, oh, we gotta like up the prices of our games because we are so bloated with personnel that we're having to pay everyone like this is part of what turns like games into like $1 million investments for people to make.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I understand your point with some of them. Specifically, we have some Activision studios, like mainly including Sledgehammer Games, who does Call of Duty, and I would say at least in their case, they haven't, at least in my opinion, haven't been like performing too well recently. It feels like since Black Ops 4, is it like every game they've tried to put out, they've been really struggling with. So I can kind of understand it with studios like that. But there's a few on here that like Turn 10, for example, like Forza Motorsport. Doesn't Forza make Xbox loads of money? I thought Forza was extremely popular, so I'm really surprised that they went and gutted them for that. I don't think them. Well, they have shut down the Forza Motorsport aspect of it, but I'm not entirely sure how the Forza Horizon one differs. I don't play these games, so I'm not entirely sure what the difference is between the two. But as far as I remember, like, Forza's always been a bit of a... I don't want to call it a console seller, but maybe for the right person it is,
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I think it's like, and obviously, like, when a kind of already kind of small studio gets shut down or gutted, that definitely does suck, especially when they've had good games in the past. Like, when they're being punished because like bigger companies or bigger studios are like sucking and are causing problems, that's not right in my opinion. I think it's like, I think the larger studios, like I said, Activision and Blizzard and all of that, like, they definitely need to downsize. But I think some of the smaller ones, especially if they've been successful as well, and they are cooking, then that's kind of the wrong priority to downsize on.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be honest, I was kind of surprised to see that Ninja Theory wasn't on this list. I know that Hellblade 2 didn't do particularly well sales-wise, so I'm surprised they weren't on the chopping block. I mean, I don't want them to be. I personally liked Hellblade. I haven't played the sequel, but I played the first one. I thought that was a really standout game, so I'd prefer that they stayed around. But I'm just surprised, because like I said, I didn't think the recent game did too well, sales-wise.
I mean, I played half of it and got bored and then distracted by something else. So
that's fair.
It's not a bad game. Don't get me wrong. But there was kind of the worry that because it didn't do so well, it was going to kind of get shut down at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because it's it's such a niche property as well. I don't feel like a lot of people really know about Hellblade too much.
Yeah.
I believe they are going to PS5 with it, though. I'm sure Hellblade 2 is releasing on PS5 at some point in the future.
Yeah, it looks like that Xbox has just kind of given up on exclusivity now. Which, to be honest with you, if all companies gave up on the whole exclusivity stuff, then I'm all here for it. I hate console exclusivity so much.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's like, I think the worst period of time for it was like PS4 and Xbox One. I remember that was when every game was coming out on one platform and you had to buy the other platform to it, and it was so frustrating. You could never own one platform and be satisfied.
I never quite understood why companies would kind of handicap themselves to one audience when surely they'd be making more money if they targeted a wider audience.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I totally agree with you. Like, I always thought, they'd make more money by just releasing things all over the place instead of just in one specific ecosystem. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes even less sense now in this day and age of cross-platform, because every game now has kind of got a cross-platform mechanic built into it. So there's absolutely no reason to have exclusivity these days. Yeah,
absolutely. Just moving on to the other studios that have been trimmed down or closed out. Rare have been cut down a bit with, again, they were working on Everwild. Again, I know nothing about this game.
I haven't heard of it myself.
But again, I can imagine what it must feel like to work on a game for 5 years or something and then be told, nah, it's gone, bye. I get that, hard decisions need to be made when something's really struggling. But I feel like there has to be a better way of handling it, And this is the big one, the one I've seen a lot of people up in arms about. Perfect Dark has been cancelled, the remake for that. Oh, I think it's either a sequel or a remake, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was getting quite a lot of hype around it, and sadly the studio behind it's been closed, so it's no longer in development. Again, one I've not played, but I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I'm really surprised they cut that one, because from what I've heard, it was a lot of people's reason for buying the Series X in the first place, or Series S, whatever you got. So it's really strange that they would cut that one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just a shame all around, I guess. Hopefully these people are able to land on their feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very competitive market, and there is jobs going around everywhere, so I wouldn't be surprised if they found something at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do wish, I know I sounded a bit callous earlier, but I really do wish all the best for those people who've lost their jobs, and I feel for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a double-edged sword, really. It's like someone's got to kind of pay the buck, as it were.
Yeah, for sure. That's a pretty good segue, actually, because there was one more studio I wanted to mention here, which is Romero Games, who is is run by the co-creator of the Doom franchise. And they had their studio shut down before they were even able to release a game. But there's a bit of a sort of happy ending to that one because I've heard that there's studios up in the air for other studios or publishers to buy. So
Okay, that's good.
they may not be totally closed out. I believe, who was it we lost recently in the last round? Was it Tango Gameworks? The guys that did Ghostwire Tokyo.
Maybe.
And Evil Within, I believe. Yeah, well, they were shut down, I think. And they had a similar thing where some other studios picked them up, so they're still on the go, which is always good.
Okay.
But I think they lost all their IPs to Xbox because obviously when they're bought by Xbox, Xbox owns their IPs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the only real downside to it, but at least it means that
again because
in this case they didn't have any games. Sorry, what were we saying?
I was just going to say, then you never see those IPs again because they go into a vault.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I personally really liked Evil Within, but I'm not expecting to see it again.
Mm-hmm.
No chance. Such a shame.
Speaking of publishers and studios, what's this about Ubisoft that you put on?
I think this one might actually be a bit of misinformation. So I just wanted to mention it just in case anyone else read it. I actually did see it on Reddit, ironically, the other day. And they've updated the terms of service again. But apparently what it says about if they choose to stop supporting something, you being required to destroy any copies of it you have, is apparently the norm for all EULAs that you sign.
Right.
But no other publishers generally act on it. From what I understand, so
this is it. Like, if you got a physical copy of a piece, something, what are they expecting you to do? Snap your disc in half?
Pretty much. Apparently, that's practically what the EULA says you have to do.
And how are they going to enforce that?
They can't. That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
That's why people are pointing and laughing at Ubisoft for being so stringent on it, because it's they can't enforce it.
Yeah, Ubisoft's days are numbered, and I tell you what that's all about. It's about stopping people from making doing what Plutonium does for Call of Duty, making their own servers and things like that, and kind of making pirate copies.
Aye, for sure. And this is why
that's what all that's about.
Yeah, 100%. This is why we need to support that Stop Killing Games movement, so that we can actually.
I was going to say,
Oh, go on.
Do you want to put it? I know I'm talking to you live here, but I'm hoping it's going to be in the description below the link to the European version and the UK version.
Yes, I will. We only found out recently,
Petitions.
Didn't we, that there's a UK version of it as well? We thought it was just a European petition, but apparently there is a UK version of it. So if you're also in the UK, you can feel free to follow that link if you want to support it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a really good movement. Fuck whatever Pirate Games is on about, or Pirate Software, whatever his name is.
Totally misconstruing it.
Yeah, go and support that movement. It's not policy change necessarily, but it does get the ball rolling into protecting players.
Yeah, 100%. It's certainly the perfect segue from talking about Ubisoft telling you to destroy your copies and stuff like that.
Yeah, for real. And that's exactly the kind of thing that it's hoping to kind of stop, basically.
It's just so outrageous that's what you expected to do. Just imagine if you had a game from PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 or something like that. It's you're not going to go and just break the disc, are you?
Yeah, exactly. Funny you mentioned that. I actually dug out my old copy of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for PlayStation 1.
Don't tell them. They're going to send you a cease and desist.
I tell you one thing though, what this movement does stop is, or what the Stop Killing Games thing does help is do you remember Overwatch?
Yeah.
I've got a copy of Overwatch 1. Now, for all intents and purposes, that is bricked now because they shut down Overwatch 1, and any data you had has been moved to Overwatch 2, which is a vastly inferior game in my opinion.
I wouldn't say it's just yours. From what I've heard, a lot of the people have moved to that Marvel Rivals instead.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, if I had more time and energy to invest into something like that, I'd be all over Marvel Rivals. It looks so much fun. Um, but like Overwatch 1, as I said, I've got a physical copy of that game. It is bricked. There's nothing I can do with that other than use it for a frisbee now.
To be fair, like it might sell in the future for a ridiculously high price.
What, a game that doesn't even work now because they shut down everything about it?
Well, you know what collectors are like. Just to have the
Yeah.
box of a game that
Fair,
doesn't exist anymore.
That's fair. I mean, speaking of collectors, that's another thing I found. I've got 2 copies of a real Pokemon Emerald cartridge.
Alright.
Which go on eBay for like between £70 to £150.
God, it's wild, isn't it? The second-hand market.
Yeah, for real. I mean, like, other games are just an absolute, like, daylight robbery.
100%. Have you seen the walls that people are going to for scalping new Pokemon cards?
I'm gonna nip this in the bud right now. Don't get me started on scalpers.
I've seen some cringe videos online of people scalping them. Oh, it's bad.
They're awful people, and it's not just in the Pokemon arena. Like, I play Warhammer, but it's not just in that. It's like in every kind of collectible arena. Like, there's these scum of the earth people who just I'm not even gonna go in here, otherwise I'll be ranting for the whole episode.
I don't blame you. I like your fiery hatred for scalpers.
It makes my blood boil so much. Let's get back on task.
Okay. Moving on swiftly from that then. Sorry, what we said.
I was going to ask, was there any other bits of gaming news that you can think of?
I was going to mention Stop Killing Games, but we kind of segued that, so...
Yeah.
Not beyond what we've already got.
Okie dokie. Well, I'll jump into the topics of this episode, 20 minutes in.
As usual, standard fare on this channel.
I mean, this is why it's called Undead Ramblings, isn't it?
Aye, pretty much.
So, this episode, we once again return to Black Ops 1 to discuss the first DLC Zombies map, Ascension. The topics for this episode, we will cover the background of the map and the setting, our initial thoughts on the map, cast and story, mechanics and gameplay, Easter eggs, music, and anything else. So the usual spiel when it comes to these retrospectives.
Oh, could you repeat that? Sorry, I lost steam there for a second.
Where did you lose me?
Honestly, it went blank for like 2 minutes.
Okay, well, I basically just went over the topics of what we're going to cover, so I'm not going to cover that now, otherwise I'll repeat myself for the listeners.
Right, it's okay. We could just start a map discussion then if you want.
Okay, cool. I mean, you see what the topics are in our document, can't you?
Yeah, true.
Cool. So I'll kick off this first bit, and then you can do the timeline excerpt if you want.
Yeah, sure.
So, Ascension was released as the first part of, or the first DLC for Call of Duty Black Ops 1, aptly named First Strike, on February the 1st, 2011 for the 360. And then I believe that was back in the day where, like, consoles had like a month's exclusivity before everyone else, so it was released
they did.
Yeah, so it was released a month later for the PlayStation 3. Was that it back at the time?
Yeah, I think it was.
God, it's been a while. So yeah,
I just look at 2011 and I'm looking at my hands and they're getting all wrinkly.
Oh yeah, you're getting the liver
just
spots. Yeah.
Reading like pretty much.
Yep. So
surprised we even still have the reflexes to play zombies these days.
I know, right? Like, I genuinely like feel my cognitive like movement and like memory just slipping each like minute.
Oh yeah, you're not the only one.
I'll hand over to you for the excerpt.
All right then. So for the timeline expert, we have November 6th, 1963. Ultimus arrive at the Soviet Cosmodrome and free Gersh from the Casimir mechanism. Richtofen recovers his diary and learns that they need the VR11 device from the Vril device. Sorry, yeah, I know. I read it first and I was like, "Wait, that's that horrible gun. That's not what I'm trying to say." The Vril device from the Siberian facility for his plan. Maintaining his ethereal form, Gersh sends them into a rift for their next destination before beginning his journey across time and space.
Lovely stuff. This only takes place like a couple of days after Kino, if memory serves.
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to read the timeline again.
That's fair. I get it out, but I don't want to make a rustling noise.
That's fair.
Ascension, as mentioned in the timeline, is set in a Soviet cosmodrome and is based on the multiplayer map Launch and the campaign mission Executive Order. That's my favourite campaign mission for Black Ops 1. I love that mission so much.
I'm trying to remember it. I do vaguely remember one. Do you also have to shoot down a rocket in that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Right. I think we're on the same page.
Cool. It takes place at the same time as the Zombies map 5. And funny enough, I found a little developer story.
Did you?
Yeah. When I was just looking up the wiki, so this COD wiki, which is where I got this. Ascension was meant to be the first launch map for Black Ops 1, but had to be pushed back because the scope and ambition was too big for the time to allow. And even then, it's still been toned down. So it was meant to be a bigger map than what we got.
All right, really interesting. I'd be curious to see what's changed between that build and what we have now.
Yeah, and it's funny to think that it was meant to be the launch map.
How ironic.
Uh-huh. Just got what you said there.
God, I'm too sleep deprived for this.
That was quick. Let's move on into our initial thoughts and experience of the map. So I'll let you take away here.
Alright, so I don't really remember my first attempt at Ascension. I have like a strange pattern when it comes to these maps. Sometimes I can remember my first attempt with them and sometimes I can't. And this one, I just don't. I don't remember my first... I remember my first time doing the Easter egg on it, but I don't remember my first time playing it. So it's hard to remember what I initially thought of it. But I think it's a really solid map. It certainly brings a lot to the table in terms of, like... we may not get a new wonder weapon per se, not in the typical sense anyway. We get 2 special grenades that we'll get into later.
I count them as wonder weapons.
Yeah, they pretty much are, aren't they, more or less?
Yeah.
But I'll just refer to them as equipment, just for the sake of ease of listening. We also get a new form of transport in the form of the lunar landers, which, again, we'll delve into more in the gameplay section. I'm trying to keep this bit a bit more concise, because I feel like in previous episodes we kind of cover all the in-game stuff at the same time as the initial thoughts, or at least I do. It's something I'm really guilty of, so I'm trying to keep it as concise as possible.
No worries.
But as for the actual map flow, yeah, it's a really enjoyable map. It's significantly easier than Kino, and Kino was already a relatively easy map out the gate. This is probably the easiest map on Black Ops 1, honestly. I'm assuming you'd agree with that.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
Yeah, for sure. It introduces PhD Flopper, which is the first time we'll be able to actually make use of the Mustang and Sally's in Black Ops 1, that iconic duo.
Yeah, this really kind of set the scene, didn't it?
Aye, for sure. Like, when I think back on Ascension, I'm sure a lot of people share this memory. The idea of standing where PhD Flopper is and diving with your friends off the stairs. Yeah. And maybe having one friend up by the window at the top and diving off that balcony as well.
Oh yeah, for real.
Yeah, it's such an iconic map for Black Ops 1. It really is. Honestly, I'm surprised it's not listed as more people's favourites. It's not one that comes up all that often, but I think it really is like a classic.
Oh, for real.
Like one of the best.
Yeah.
It's a solid pick for sure. We also get oh god, what's it called? Stamina Up.
Mm-hmm.
Another new perk that lets us run a bit faster, so that's always fun. Certainly helps with this map.
You're giving away the mechanics and gameplay section.
I know. I'm just scrounging the wasteland of my brain at this hour to find something.
It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry. It's just your like initial kind of like how you like the map.
Yeah, for sure. Well, on that note, I think I've pretty much mentioned everything.
Okay.
At the risk of repeating myself again, so I'll let you take it away.
No worries. So when I got, as I've mentioned a few times now, I came into Black Ops 1 relatively late. Ascension had already been released, and Call of the Dead was not far off, if not already out at this point. So I got Call of the Dead before I got Ascension.
Alright.
Yeah, so but I got Ascension before Shangri-La. But yeah, so I experienced Ascension really late in terms of Black Ops 1's life cycle.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, it's probably my favourite map on this game. I love the vibe of the map, the atmosphere, the characters have such great quotes in it, the weapon selection, the general layout of the map is just wonderfully done.
It really
and
is.
aside from maybe the monkeys stealing your perks, I think this is a pretty much flawless experience. In terms of a zombies map, it really is just the creme de la creme of Black Ops 1, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
And I mean, there was one kind of sticking point until, like, as of when this releases, like a couple of weeks ago, that until very recently, I never completed the Easter egg. On this map, even like on the Black Ops 1 and the Black Ops 3 version, I never completed the Easter egg, so it was such a black mark on my zombies career to have I've done every single like mainline Easter egg up until like the Shattered Veil, and this is, well, not including Vanguard, but I don't have that one, and this is the only map that I never did the Easter egg on, and it was such a kind of, as I said, a black mark on my on my record.
Yeah.
So it was really fun to finally free myself of that stain and get it done. But I'll go into the Easter egg later on. So yeah, I mean, I was aware of what happened here in terms of like the lore and such, but yeah, it was such a good map, and still is a great map. It's probably like in my S tier, maybe even S plus. Like that's how much I love this map.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree. Just rewinding back to the Easter egg thing real quick, is there any particular reason that you didn't get it done? Not enough players?
Truth be told, yeah, I mean, it was that. It's like, even when we had a crew for Shangri-La, none of them wanted to go back and do Ascension, either because they've already done it, or there was just no achievement for it. Like, that's a large portion of why we did the Easter eggs back in the day, was to get the achievements for it. So, nobody had, like, even though I wanted to, nobody had any reason to go and play it.
Oh, right. Honestly, I wish I knew you back then, because, like, my friends just like doing it back then just for fun. So
I don't think, no, you and I didn't even know each other back then.
No, not then, no.
Yeah, I didn't even know you existed in general. Like, you hadn't even started uploading your YouTube, like, soundtrack stuff.
I know, that was with Black Ops 3, wasn't it? If I remember correctly, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, like, as I said, I'm free now. I've finally done it.
Brush those shackles off.
I know, it's like stepping out into the light, a new man.
Well, except for classified.
We don't talk about classified.
Honestly, I don't even think
Yeah.
10% of the player base overall is done classified.
Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, no, we'll get to that. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
And there will be a rant. There will be a rave, and it will not be pretty. What we can talk about now, though, is the cast and story. Hey, segue.
Nice.
So I'll let you take us away here.
All right. So, Ascension sees the return of our Ultimus crew with Richtof and Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takio from Shinonuma. So we're going to kind of have this crew persisting, aren't we, up until Moon, I believe. It's the last time we see them.
It's funny considering
how...
I was going to say, like, I mean, it's funny how intermittent they are in Black Ops 1. Like, you got two... Like, there's two crews in that map that aren't them, or in this game, sorry, that aren't them.
Yeah. Ironically, the next map as well.
Exactly.
But yeah, so we've got an introduction of a new character, Gersh, which is going to be the inspiration for the name of one of the weapons that have been added in this map. We've also got the introduction of Yuri, who is the Pentagon thief that we spoke about in the 5 episode. If you haven't checked that out, you can go back and there'll probably be a link to it at the end of the video, with any luck. We also hear about Samantha throughout the map as well. So again, more stuff from Deriz, and how she's been communicating with, I believe it's Yuri that she's communicating with. Yeah. And it ends up like turning into this plot of Yuri trying to kill Gersh with one of his weapons. The Gersh. Well, I'll just name drop it. It doesn't matter at this point, does it? I've literally just said the name of it, so so we'll just roll with calling it the Gersh device. So Yuri attempts to kill Gersh, which traps him in. I'm assuming it's the ether, dark ether.
I think so.
One of the two.
It traps him somewhere.
Yeah, so that kind of sets up the whole basis for this map, where we're trying to free him by using something called the Casimir mechanism.
Yep.
We'll probably get into that a bit more as we talk about the Easter egg, though. Beyond that, we learn that the Ascension group, which is the group that Gersh and Yuri belong to, are responsible for developing the Thunder Gun, which we also saw in Kino de Toten, which is where it made its debut. And it's what tricks Gersh. Well, hold on, let me see. I might be misreading this. I've skipped a line here.
Yeah.
Right. Just give me a second. Yeah, right. Okay, the latter is what tricks Yuri and Yuri tricks Gersh. God, it's like an episode of what's it called? It's like a YouTube short or something.
Oh, I don't know. Let me give you a hand here. So the Ascension group worked on the Thunder Gun and the Gersh device. The latter is what Yuri tricks Gersh into trapping himself into.
Yes, not the Thunder Gun, so forgive my... See,
God, can you imagine being trapped into the Thunder Gun?
I just get flustered and then I just can't get my words out. I'm saying I read it wrong and then I get myself flustered. You'd think 14 episodes in I'd be fine with this by now, but apparently not.
You're okay. I'm happy to kind of put you out of your misery.
We'll need to find like a call sign. If I trip up again, like I'll knock the mic twice or something, and you can come in and bail me out.
Yeah.
Right, and well, finally, we also learned that Dempsey and Takio finally started to remember about the brainwashing that's been done to them by Richtofen in Deriz, I believe, and also where we'll be going next.
Yep.
I believe it takes place in both areas. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, I'll have to kind of refresh myself on the lore, but I do believe it was at the Siberian facility that he brainwashed them.
Yeah, that's where it primarily takes place. I just can't remember if he did any more work at Deriz, but like you say, I'd have to read it again.
I think he just had them on ice in Deriz.
Yeah, that might be what I'm remembering.
I can't quite remember. I'll refresh myself on the timeline.
Right.
So just kind of jumping, like, I know you kind of summarised this section quite nicely there. So
Nicely. I think that might actually be the biggest slip up to date.
What do you think of the character Gersh, or the bold man, as it's been revealed?
But it's Richtofen, apparently.
Bah!
He doesn't really get a whole lot of character development here. He's literally more like a damsel in distress for this map. So we don't really get to hear a lot about him. He just basically tells us what we need to do and we move on. So it's kind of hard to characterize him based on this map alone. In the future, though, I'll probably say that till we get to, like, Gorokovi or something.
Yeah.
Try to avoid spoilers in case anyone hasn't played the next couple of games. I'm sure most people on here have seen it, but, you know, it's always worth being careful.
Yeah, I mean, he gets quite a bit of development in the radios on this map.
Yeah, that's true.
And then obviously,
oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say then obviously in Gorokovi, and I think maybe I believe he's also in the Tag to Toten radios.
Honestly, like I've said in the previous video, I totally tuned out towards the end of Black Ops 4, so if he is in Tag to Toten, I have no idea.
I believe he is. And so he's quite a prolific character, and it's funny that he's become that kind of prolific, even though he's like, for all intents and purposes, why he is like the main kind of focus around the Easter egg.
Yeah.
He doesn't get much like we don't know what the Casimir mechanism is or anything like that, so yeah.
I do remember, just vaguely, like I said, I know I said I didn't remember my first playthrough, but I do remember hearing him for the first time and thinking, like, you know, oh, there might be a bit more to this. You know what I mean? Than just just like the previous maps where there wasn't really an Easter egg. Barduries, if you want to class that.
It's just like the first kind of map where we have a kind of extra character in the map with us.
It might be, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the previous ones do.
No. That's quite cool.
Aye. It's because I was going to say it's kind of like somewhat of a theme, isn't it, for the remaining maps?
Yeah.
Apart from maybe Nils Hammer's in Moon, technically, so I guess that kind of counts.
Yeah, for real. Do you remember much of the radios of Ascension?
I remember the one where, like, I remember that they start, like, discovering, you know, like, teddy bears and that, and toys around the facility, and I remember that Yuri starts to hear Sam's voice, but I don't remember the specifics. I'm sure I've heard the one in which Gersh dies, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I do vaguely remember that one. I don't remember them in detail, but I do remember the gist.
I mean, you kind of got the general kind of overview of it right there, where like Yuri just descends into madness and then eventually betrays Gersh, which is kind of like the background of the whole map, as you alluded to earlier.
Yeah.
And while we only kind of hear her at the very end, it's very interesting that I think this is probably the largest map that Samantha has had a role in, apart from like the Deriz radios.
Yeah. Can I just say, I really love that bit at the end of the Easter egg. It made Sam such an ominous threat initially. Like, that scream that she does at the end is genuinely intimidating.
Yeah,
I wish we saw more of Sam portrayed that way throughout throughout Black Ops 1.
I mean, I love her kind of like, as we're filling up the containers around the pyramid, you hear on Moon, you hear her like demonic voice.
Yes, yeah. Black Ops 1 Samantha, like as the announcer, was the best they've ever done with Samantha. It was honestly top notch. She was so intimidating to be around in.
Yeah.
in the first one.
For real. Just kind of before we move on, one of the things I found, or one of the things that I think is really cool, is that there was no kind of canon name for the Ascension group
Alright.
initially, just because everyone called them the Ascension group, um, the Treyarch eventually made that canon when they released the timeline.
Alright, did they? That's pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. I love when
Yeah,
stuff like that happens.
yeah, it just kind of harkens back to like community-led storytelling, which I really really like, and I love that. Like even if it was just like a name, that
Yeah.
kind of stuck that so much that they were like, oh yeah, let's run with that.
It's just like we were just talking about with Sam, like her entire character is basically just community written, more or less, with a bit of input from the devs. Like the character wouldn't
Yeah.
exist, without people mishearing that one zombie attack sound that you get. It's just crazy to think about.
Yeah, just little things.
Aye.
Yeah. Well, unless you had anything else to cover with cast and story, let's move on.
Aye, sounds good to me.
So, mechanics and gameplay. I'll start us off here if you want.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
So, up to this point, I believe Ascension is the largest map to date. Not like obviously we've had larger maps since, but as of when Ascension released, I think it was the largest map.
Yeah.
Is it bigger than Shinonuma?
Uh, it's hard to say without looking at it like from the top down.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of, Shinonuma kind of spirals off, doesn't it, in different directions, whereas Ascension's kind of does the same thing, I suppose, in some
Ascension's
ways.
also got like the vertical element to it as well.
Yeah, that's true. I would be comfortable saying it's close. But I think
I don't
in
think
terms
it's.
of, if we include the background and the outer parts of the map, then definitely.
Oh yeah. But in terms of like playable space, it's probably like maybe just bigger than Shinonuma.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think it's certainly bigger than Deriz.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so there's like 5 main areas. So there's the central hub where you spawn in. You got your 3 lunar landing zones, and then the rocket pad as well. Those are the kind of like 5 main areas that I consider, unless you can think of anything else.
No, I would say that generally covers all the areas.
Okay. So a gimmick, I think this is probably the most famous gimmick of this map, really, is that before you even turn power on, it starts off black and white. What do you think of that gimmick?
I enjoy it. It was a really nice change of pace. It was definitely unexpected. I don't know if you're going to touch on this again in the Easter egg portion, but I did like how, going back to the Samantha thing that we talked about earlier with that screen bit at the end, how the screen temporarily goes back into black and white.
Yeah, for real.
I think that's such a nice detail. I don't know why on earth she has the power to change what your perception of colour is, but we'll just roll with it. It was a cool stylistic choice, so who really cares about the details?
Yeah, for real. It kind of like it makes it feel like old school kind of like zombie movies. When it's like black and white, especially at the very beginning, and you got all the zombies kind of slowly coming up to the windows.
Oh yeah, for sure. I always liked as well when they'd bring it back in future maps, like the Noir Easter egg in Shadows of Evil, or I believe is there not a step in Blood of the Dead that has it?
Yeah.
I do love when they bring it back in that sort of way. Well, except for Chronicles. I'm sure you said this yourself.
Yeah, I was going to touch on this. I don't like how Chronicles does it. Like, it's not even true black and white, which is mind-boggling. Considering that there is a black and white Easter egg in, as you said, the Noir Easter egg. So, like, there's absolutely no reason for Ascension, like, in Chronicles. Like, there's still colour in it, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's more like... It feels more like
sepia.
they've desaturated it, but only by like 50%. That's what it feels like. It feels like they haven't gone the full way like they did with the original, and they've just halved it. So it's still
and
you can still make out colour.
Yeah, and I just can't understand why they would do something like that.
Yeah.
Like, even when you use certain gobblegums, like, I think it's like, Now You See Me or something like that, it goes, like, more or less black and white.
Alright. Well, I was just thinking, actually. You know that one that makes them go, like, blue or green or red, the zombies, the whimsical one? Do they show up in colour?
I'll have to playtest that, to be honest.
Alright. Got a bit of myth-busting.
I should have probably mentioned this earlier, but we're covering, as with all of the Chronicles maps, we're not going to be covering them in the specific episodes. We're going to give Chronicles its own kind of coverage. But yeah, it does annoy me about the Black Ops 3 version of Ascension. Just doesn't do black and white right.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose of all the problems they could have had, it's certainly not the most important ones. So.
Oh yeah, I know. But as I said earlier, like, the black and white at the beginning of the map is arguably what makes this map so iconic initially.
Yeah.
It's one of the things you think about when you load up a game of Ascension.
I would agree. I could be misremembering, but on Chronicles, does it not start in colour and then go black and white?
It might well do.
I feel like it does.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're coming down the ladder, when you land at the bottom, that's when it goes in black and white.
Yeah.
Oh, sepia.
Yeah. They call it what it is.
Yeah.
So...
Well, that's the thing, like, I'm not sure about sepia because... yeah. Isn't sepia more like brown?
I guess so. It's more like a very desaturated sepia then.
Yeah, for sure. What were you saying, sorry?
Just kind of moving on a little bit here. As is tradition with the early new maps, Ascension introduces quite a few new things, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, I already kind of touched on them in my breakdown where I tried not to touch on them. So I'll let you take this one away.
No bother. We'll kind of discuss it properly in a second. But Ascension introduces the traditional quest-based Easter egg that we have come to know and love, which is quite an odd map to when you think about it. Like, that they didn't think to do something like this sooner.
I think it makes more sense when you consider what you said before about Ascension originally being a launch map.
Yeah, that's fair. I
think through that lens it makes sense.
I
could see them leaving it out for Kino if it was meant to be like a World at War map.
Yeah.
Initially.
Yeah, that makes sense when you put it that way. As Josh mentioned earlier, we got 2 new perks in this map. In place of double tap root beer, RIP in Ascension. So we get
we get it in Chronicles at least.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about Chronicles. So we get PhD Flopper, which has 2 effects. It can protect you from explosive damage, and basically if you dive, because back then this was when we had the dive mechanic, off a ledge or something, or high up area, you create a little mini explosion. But people favoured PhD for the anti-explosive effect, didn't they?
I don't know, I'd say that's arguable.
That's fair.
I've seen way too many videos of people jumping off that ledge.
That's fair.
To definitively say that.
I've had games, public games, where everyone's had PhD, and we lure that last zombie to the platform, the Lunar Lander platform where it is.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone just dives on it and just sends it like sky high because of the amount of explosions.
Nice.
And as you mentioned earlier, like, PhD really made a name for itself with combining itself with the Mustang and Sally.
Oh yeah, for sure. Don't play Black Ops 1 without it. At least not after Ascension.
I think it gives reason for people to kind of keep hold of a starter weapon.
Aye, for sure. Like, I feel like Black Ops 1, specifically some maps like Call of the Dead, it can be a really tough without having a fallback like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, like, I used to struggle with some of the early Black Ops 1 maps on later rounds when, you didn't have PhD and a get out of jail free card
Yeah.
like you do now. So I definitely appreciated it.
Yeah, it very much kind of opened more possibilities for players, especially with the Mustang and Sally, and it kind of rewards players for their dedication on holding onto the starter pistol.
Yeah, true.
To the point of
I
pack
just
punching
wish...
it.
Exactly, yeah. I just wish, well, I wonder, do you reckon they designed the Mustang and Sally around the idea that they were going to add PhD, or do you think it was vice versa?
That's a very good question, because I don't know what came. It's kind of chicken and egg situation here. Like, what came first?
Yeah.
Because I know, like as you said earlier, like Ascension was meant to be a launch map. Did they make PhD for Ascension to be a new like for when it launched, or was it always meant to be released? Like, did they think it up later on for it to be released in DLC 1?
That's true, yeah. I guess it's a difficult... Oh, go on.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I would love to kind of ask a developer about that.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'd be interested to see if it was meant to be in Kino at any point, if they had worked on it during the development of, the launch version of Ascension.
Yeah.
Or whether it came in, like you say, as a part of the DLC when they were making it for the DLC that they added PhD.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, it's hard to say without being able to ask them directly.
Yeah, maybe one day. So the other map, the other perk this map introduced was stamina. What's your thoughts on
Absolute
stamina?
godsend.
Yeah? Okay, that answers my question.
There you go. I didn't use it too much back then, but in more recent games, I just don't go without it.
Yeah. It wasn't until Black Ops 4 that I really started appreciating stamina.
Do you know why I think that might be? Infinite sprint.
Yeah. That you could be right on that.
I think it's the fact that you could sprint forever that made it a lot more easy to use, because it was nice to use before, but it was annoying because you still had to constantly press the analog in to continue sprinting. So it really slowed the pace down with it, but now you can just fly around the map with it, which is way better.
Yeah, and like it's gotten to the point where I don't like. So I mentioned before about what makes or breaks a map for me, and one of the cases travel or fast travel, and one of the biggest problems I have with Mob of the Dead, I'm gonna get lynched here, is that it doesn't have good fast travel and it doesn't have stamina, and I think if because certain maps need stamina and Mob of the Dead definitely needed it.
Yeah, I don't know why they cut it. I understand why they cut Quick Revive with the the afterlife mechanic, but stamina, I don't really understand why.
Yeah.
They thought we didn't need it.
They
must have known playing it that it's such a chore to run all the way down the stairs. I know there's the gondola, but like you say, it's not always practical.
For real. I don't like Stamina's location much in Ascension, just because it's so far out there compared to where all the other perks are.
Yeah, that's true.
I
suppose you could argue that you go that way anyway to activate the landers.
I know, but I should have probably asked you this when we were talking about the areas, but like, I don't, unless I'm playing with a group of people, I don't tend to hang around that lander area. If I'm training and like playing on my own for high rounds, I usually hang around the PhD one.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. I haven't played the original version of Ascension and trained for like quite a while, but for the Black Ops 3 version at least, I camp spawn with the thunder gun and run around the lander down there.
Where do you like to hang around if there are 4 people?
It's been so long, but if memory serves, generally the famous spot, PhD.
Yep.
That's where everyone used to hang out. And there's
What
it's a perfect.
was your backup in case someone was there already?
Oh yeah. I was just waiting to say real quick. It was just the perfect spot because there's like only 2 windows as well behind you. So get 2 people on the front and 2 on the windows, and you're set.
Yeah.
It's like easy.
Mm-hmm.
What was it you were asking there? Sorry.
I was gonna ask, like, what was that? What's your location? If that place is already taken, though. Like, where's your backup location?
Well, bump up. I'm camping there as well, I'm afraid.
Fair enough.
Honestly, I have used
it's
the
big
rocket.
enough.
I have used the launch pad before for the rocket.
Mm-hmm.
That one's not terrible. That's about it, really. That's the only ones I can remember off the top of my head. I did try speed caller once, but you could probably already tell that was a terrible idea and didn't work very well.
I tell you what, where the stamina up lunar lander isn't too bad, to be honest, to train around.
Yeah, I don't mind.
That's usually.
Oh, go on.
I was just gonna say, like, that's usually my go-to if I'm playing with other players. Because I don't like I like my elbow room. I don't like sharing with other players.
No, me neither. To be honest, it's more fun when you've got a horde that you can just demolish on your own, rather than having people picking away at it.
It's not even that. It's that, like, I've experienced so many games where. Sorry, I'm just go.
No, it's okay.
I'm not meaning to interrupt it. I've experienced so many games where I've trained in, like, close proximity to other players, and because they've gone in a particular direction or run off or whatever, I've ended up taking it down because my kind of training path gets interrupted.
Oh yeah. I've definitely experienced that. Have you ever had those kinds of players where you help them once and they're, God bless them, they're really struggling. They're going down all the time, and you're the only one in the entire group that's coming to help them. And then they just kind of start following you everywhere, and they constantly get you in spots of bother, and it's just like, look, I really want to help, but...
Yeah, I'm not a babysitter.
Yeah, like, you're making this way more difficult than it needs to be.
Yeah, I've had those games.
Yeah. I just feel bad for them, because I'm like, this can't be fun.
Yeah, I think I'd just quit at that point.
Aye, pretty much.
Let's move on a little bit because we've got a couple more introductions of this map. So as you mentioned earlier, this map introduces 2 new tactical grenades. So we've got the Gersh device and the Matryoshka dolls. So the Gersh device, does that replace the monkey bombs in this map?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. So it acts as a black hole, which sucks zombies in, but it can also teleport players. And the Matryoshka dolls act as a powerful cluster grenade. So I mean, like, most people generally favour the Gersh device, don't they?
Yeah, as I say, it's basically you get out of jail free card for this game. So, well, the exception of the Thunder Gun, I suppose.
For those of you who haven't played Ascension for some reason, or experienced the Gersh device, it functions pretty much similar to the Casimir. Is it the Casimir?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called the Casimir device in or grenade in Cold War and Black Ops 6.
I'm just doubting myself now. Is that right? Is it actually? I need to Google this. Just continue with your point. Hold on.
That's fine. That's pretty much it. Like, those are the 2 new tacticals. I like both of them, but I definitely prefer the Gersh.
Aye, for sure.
This map also introduces a new, I call them heavy melee weapon, because that's what the bow knife is. But in replacement of the bow knife, we now have the sickle, which is very fitting for a Russian map. It functions more or less the same as the bow knife. I think it's a one-hit kill to around 10 or 12.
Sorry, I'm just plugging back in here. We talked about the sickle.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is the same as the bowie knife, stat wise.
Mm-hmm.
I've just had a mind blown moment.
Oh, what? Go on then.
the whole Casimir thing.
Right.
I've just drawn the dots of that it's supposed to like refer to the Casimir mechanism. How the hell have I just noticed that? That's why I had to double back. I'm like, that sounds familiar. Why does that sound familiar? So there you go. I've literally just connected those dots now.
Well
about
done,
what?
Josh.
Like 3 years after Cold War brought them into existence.
Oh, bless. He's old.
God, I can't believe I didn't catch that.
I thought it would have been. I mean, is it because like the ones in Cold War start with a K and the one in Ascension starts with a C?
I have no idea. I'm
willing
honestly.
to bet it's that.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past me.
Oh my god, that's very funny.
Well, there you go. Well, hopefully, I'm not the only one who just figured that
out. Before we move on to the map's special enemy, I'll just briefly mention it here, but there's no real reason to talk about it much. So we got new fast travel. I say new. It's the only one. It's the only time it appears, isn't it, in this map?
What
the lunar landers?
Yeah.
I don't think they ever really appear again, do they?
No, not as far as I'm aware.
Okay. I really like the lunar landers, though. Mind you, they can get you killed.
Yeah, for sure. I've certainly seen a few troll operations in my time of people calling you to the lander when it's absolutely swamped in an attempt to get you killed. To be fair, it was mostly a revenge thing when the person would try and ditch you in the middle of a horde. So you'd call them back. And then they get swamped the second it lands. Good times.
I've experienced the inverse of that as well, where I've gone down, but I've managed to crawl onto a lander and someone's crawled over to them.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
Yeah, so they are really clutch in this map.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I like that you have a degree of control over them as well. Up to now, it's been like just the teleporters where it's like one way, and that's it. But apart from 5, I guess.
Well, 5 is just a whole mess.
Yeah, 5 is just a different kind of annoying. But at least with this one, you can go either way with it.
What do you think of this map's special enemy, the monkeys, which can steal your perks?
I don't hate them, but I'm not particularly keen on them either. I like to think of them as saving me money.
Saving you money?
Yeah, because it just makes me not want to buy perks. So I'm like,
alright, that's fair.
I'll just keep my points then. I only normally buy Quick Revive and Jug and just camp the stairs like at the bottom.
Yeah, that's definitely my my go-to. It's like if I'm playing solo, I will buy the door that's next to Quick Revive in order to get Jug. But I won't buy the door at the top.
Yeah.
Of where Jug is, so that I only have to defend those 2 perks.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because if they're coming after Jug, they don't generally have to pass through Quick Revive as well.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
I can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. And those are the only 2 perks I really buy on Ascension if I'm playing on my own.
Yeah, same here. The other ones are just a novelty, I guess, if you manage to kill enough. Well, that's probably something we should get into, actually. That if you kill them before they touch a perk that you've already bought, you can get a free perk.
Yeah, and I was going to mention this, like, this is another introduction. We get a new power-up, which is the random perk bottle, which gives you a random perk.
Such a cool feature. I love when, like, I love that I know we're not there yet, but in Black Ops 2, when they start giving out perk bottles in nearly every map, for like simple things. I love that.
Yeah, like just a little side Easter egg reward. It definitely is a good idea.
I think my favourite implementation of it was Buried.
Oh, with the witches, yeah.
Yeah. The way you could just go through the house on a certain round and you'd get a free perk every time.
Yeah, like free kind of like poor man's perkaholic almost.
Aye. I mean, she owes you that much after she steals all your cash.
Oh yeah, for real.
To be fair.
Yes. Was there anything else you kind of wanted to cover? Have we kind of given the monkeys enough justice there? I think we have.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've talked about like our strategy with them and whatnot, and the free perk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the monkeys, but like they are the weakest part of Ascension, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. For some reason, they're like Treyarch in this time period were obsessed with having monkeys that take things from you, but we'll get to that in the future.
Oh yeah, for real. Richtofen has some of the most out-of-pocket quotes though. When
He does.
when there's a monkey around, like one of them that's always like stuck with me is like, "Yes, right down with the poop, oh the poop."
There's one that I caught I think it was in the footage when we were doing the 4-player version. The 4-player version, the Ascension Easter egg, where he says, I think it's if you get a grenade kill on a zombie, he's like, I can fit them in my pocket. That one always
in my
gets
pocket
me.
with their spleens. One of my favourite Nikolai quotes that comes from this map is when he fires the thunder gun and he goes, like the fist of Stalin.
Oh,
up
yeah.
Your ass.
Yeah, I do remember this one.
Like the quotes on this map are like definitely top tier. You can tell the cast. I know we're kind of past the casting story, but you really can tell that they're getting comfortable with these characters at this point.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'll tell you what we'll have to include in our map ranking video. Which map has the best quotes?
Oh, Christ, I'm going to have to go ahead and listen to them all now. There used to be a YouTuber who probably, I mean, they might still be up, but who had like all of the quotes from Black Ops 1 back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I think Black Ops 1 definitely has like some of my favourite quotes in all of Zombies.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I'm sure I've mentioned it. Oh, go on.
I was going to say, like, Richtofen's lines in Shangri-La, like, he would get cancelled for nowadays.
There's one in Shangri-La that Takio says, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to spoil it till we get there.
Okay. Well, we'll come to that. Let's move on to the Easter eggs. So we've got the main Easter egg, which is freeing Gersh from the Casimir mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you done this now?
Maybe about five or six.
Nice.
Something like that. I remember that I did it with, I believe I did it with Liam on Chronicles, where we, actually I brought this up in a previous one, we did the 2-controller method again, where we'd have no one on split screen, and we did it that way.
Nice. I don't know what, so you and I were really stressing about finding other people to do this Easter egg with.
Yeah.
Again, thank you, Trico and Oscar, who helped us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, like, I don't know why we didn't even think of doing that.
I mean, I did consider it, but I was like, I don't want split screen footage. So I was like,
That's fair. But yeah, no, Trico and Oscar definitely came to our rescue for this one.
Oh, absolutely.
As I said earlier, I've never done this Easter egg, so it was really nice to actually experience it for the first time.
Yeah, it's honestly a pretty solid Easter egg. I really quite enjoyed this one.
I was surprised by how short it was.
Again, we got extremely lucky with the weapons.
Oh, yeah,
you generally don't get them that early.
I think I was up there with him, but I think Trico's like first or second box spin, he got the thunder gun.
Ah, yeah.
And then I got the ray gun before the box moved. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think all of us apart from Trico got a ray gun, didn't we?
Ah, yeah. I believe you got the Matryoshkas as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that in the same fire cell that I got the ray gun. Then you
lucky.
got you were the last one who got the Gershes, weren't you?
Yeah. And I had to do,
Yeah.
again, what I would say is the hardest part, trying to land that Gersh on that the orb at the end.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's really finicky where it has to land. Which is really annoying.
We had a bit of a hiccup with the order of the letters, didn't we, for the Lunar Landers?
Yeah, but I'm not going to take responsibility for that. That was the Steam guide's fault.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like when we called it over from spawn to where the claymores are, I don't think anyone was on it, so we completely missed the L.
Yeah. So we had plenty of jokes about that, didn't we?
I know, taking the L.
Yeah, it's funny because we did have it in the right place, like you were saying, but nobody was on it, so it didn't count.
It just completely like went over our heads.
Aye. So I remember you being like, why is it a U?
Yeah, I was like, oh no, let me go crouch, can I miss it? I mean, the most riveting part of the game was like that 2-minute wait for that clock to disappear.
Oh yeah.
We were all having a heart to heart.
For some reason, it reminds me of the step. I don't know why, but every time I think of that step, I think of that one from Die Rise where you had to sit with the ballistic knife. I don't know what it is about those two steps, but something about it always reminds me of it.
It's been so long since I did Die Rise, I cannot remember.
Aye, no worries.
I've only done Die Rise once. I genuinely cannot remember anything about it.
Oh yeah. I was going to say, you were the absolute Chad that carried the zombie all the way to the stamina upside, didn't you? So we had plenty of time to sit and wait for this.
Oh, what, for Ascension? Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was already over there anyway, so I just like lopped his legs off and then let him like hobble along.
Aye, and another shout out to Trico for dragging the crawler on the final step all the way to the rocket pad.
Oh yeah, for real. Both Trico and Oscar did very well holding zombies.
Aye.
I was surprised by how, like, I've heard horror stories about how finicky it is, but I was surprised by how quickly we managed to do damage on the orb at the very end. That we got it first try.
Yeah. We did have 3 ray guns, to be fair.
Oh yeah, I know. I was under the impression that you had to be very specific with the amount of damage you put into it, and even with like all kitted out, it was very tricky.
I think it's like I said when I used to do it. People used to fire into the portal on the Gersh instead of the actual floor. I think that's what made it. I think that's what it was. I think it was more a case of people doing it wrong than it being difficult. Okay. I could be wrong though. We'd have to try it again at some point with one of each weapon and see how it goes.
But all in all, like, I mean, as I said, I was aware of like the story beats of it and like some of the quotes and such. But it was really fun to actually experience it for the first time.
Yeah, I can imagine playing like completing one that you haven't done before, especially in this day and age, an old one. I kind of wish I had like a situation like that. Go back and redo like, one of the old ones.
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah, as I said, I've completed every mainline one apart from Vanguard now, so like I'm completely free of like any black marks on my record.
Aye. Until Vanguard comes on Game Pass, at least.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of Game Pass, I was surprised to see World War II got on there.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
Ah, no, I hadn't seen that.
Just seems a bit of an odd one to put on.
Yeah, for sure. I would have thought if they were going to pick any World War II one, they would have picked Vanguard because it's more recent.
Yeah. So there were a couple of side Easter eggs in Ascension if you want to go over them.
Yes. Just give me 1 second. My phone's closed on me. I think the app has crashed.
He's not prepared.
I am prepared. It's my phone.
Do you want me to kind of kick us off then while you're loading that up?
Yeah, just get the first one and I'll catch up in a minute.
Okay. In probably one of my favorite features of this map, players can blow up the rocket to get a free double points. I wish.
I
that was that.
wish. Yeah.
That would have been so cool. Yeah, to get a free double points on the rocket pad. So you got to do that after you activate the rocket to launch. And I think it's with any kind of like high damage weapon, like the Law or China Lake. But most people tend to use the ray gun, don't they?
Yeah, it's by far the easiest.
Mm-hmm.
Just takes like a handful of shots from that and you're done. I don't think you really need to pack up. Well, obviously you can't anyway. But you know, it doesn't take too much damage.
Nah, it's only like two ray gun shots. I really like that. Kind of harkens back to the multiplayer Easter egg, which no, not multiplayer. Not Easter egg. Good grief, what was I saying there? It harkens back to the campaign mission where you blow up the rocket in that.
I wonder if it's a case of reused assets. I'd imagine so.
Probably. But it's still a really cool kind of idea.
Aye, for sure. Well, I'm ready to pick up where you left off if you're ready to dive into the next one.
Sure.
Alright, so we've got the Matryoshka dolls of ultimates that can be found around the map that give you different quotes depending on which one you interact with. So there's like, I'm trying to remember where they all are. We've got Dempsey at Stamina, haven't we? Next to the Claymores.
Right next to the Claymores. Nikolai is on a shelf just above where Speakola is.
Yeah.
Takeo is where PhD is.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Richtofen's in the power building on the bottom floor.
Yeah.
Off to the right. I believe when you throw the Matryoshka dolls themselves, it has the Ultimus ones inside.
Oh yeah, when you prime them, yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty sure it did.
That's really cool. I love so just kind of mentioning quotes again. Like, I think when Nikolai goes up to the Richtofen one, he's like, "Ack, don't breathe on me."
Oh yeah, I do remember that one. I'm sure. Is it? Oh, which movie is it? That quote that Richtofen says to one of the dolls, where it's like, they rub the lotion on the doll. Oh. What's it from again?
Oh yeah, I can't remember. It rubs the lotion on the doll.
Is it Silence of the Lambs or something like that?
It might be.
It's definitely a movie of some variety. Well, while you're doing
Silence
that,
of the Lambs.
it is. Mm-hmm. All right, nice.
Yeah. Back in the day when we had like such good trivia quotes.
Yeah. It's a shame we don't really have a trivia section this time because we could have thrown it in there. We also have red phones scattered around the map, which if you interact with them, they will play quotes from 5, which is how we get the connection that they play at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's always pretty fun.
I don't remember where the phones are, and I don't remember how many. Is there 3 or 4? I can't quite remember.
I know there's one next to PhD, but that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head that I know off by heart.
The only one that I remember is the room where Mule Kick is now.
Oh, yeah.
Next to the box. I think in the Chronicles version, these phones... So in Black Ops 1, they ring every 120 to 300 seconds. But I think in Chronicles, they only ring if you do a specific thing.
Alright, okay.
I can't quite remember. I'll have to double check on that one.
I've never really interacted with them on Chronicles, so I'm not entirely sure on that one.
Don't they play Not Ready to Die?
They do, yeah. Apparently.
Or the instrumental.
Apparently, so I'm told, but I've never actually triggered it myself. We did try, I remember one time, but you had to do something specific. Like, it was either you had to shoot them or knife them specifically or something.
Yeah, and like if they don't... if you miss like the call, they don't ring again.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. So we just were like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, I loved that. I remember like answering the phone once, and it was like the Nixon quote where he's just howling.
Oh yeah. Good stuff.
Do you have anything else to go over on Easter eggs?
No, I think that's about it.
No, we're very light on Easter eggs in Black Ops 1 in general, aren't we?
Yeah, it's like mainly the primary Easter egg, and that's it, really.
Yeah, it's not until like, what would you say, Black Ops 3 even, that we start getting more intricate side Easter eggs.
Aye. It's not so much an Easter egg, but I'll mention it here anyway. There is the kind of like faces in the clouds on this map.
I could never see them. I've heard about them, but I could never see them, and I don't know if that's like a bit pareidolia speaking there.
Aye. I'll see if I can find a picture of them after we've finished recording, and if I do, I'll add it on screen in the video. I'm pretty sure they're there, though. But like you say, it could be pareidolia.
They probably are, but I've never been able to see them myself.
Aye.
Let's move on to our favourite section, especially for zombies, music. Take it away.
Right, so with this map we get Abracadabra by Alina Siegman and Kevin Sherwood. So again, we're following a theme here with which artists we have for these songs. It's pretty much the same through Black Ops 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a really solid song. I don't like it as much as 115, but I did really enjoy it. It's always been a bit of a weird one for me, personally. It never quite clicked with me the same way, but I do still really enjoy it. I still think it's a solid pick.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, like, all the Black Ops 1 songs. I know Coming Home's a bit questionable for people, but I didn't mind that one too much. I don't really have any strong opinions on it. I just think it's pretty good. What about you?
I love this one. I'm struggling whether to, like, if I consider it as good, if not better than 115. I love both of them very equally. Don't get me wrong, both of them are like in the S tier or S plus tier, if you want to call it that. Of Easter egg songs. Like I really like this one, and when we played it the other day while we were doing the Easter egg, like I said to you, like I forgot how good this actually was. It's the bridge that I really like, and the chorus. Alina really kind of smashes this one out of the park.
Aye, for sure.
I remember that I told you I told you this the other day. Like I remember feeling very clever with myself about that I solved the riddles at the in the first two kind of verses.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember you saying.
I really love that they incorporated Damned into this.
Oh yeah. One bit like fun trivia that I always thought was funny about Abracadabra is the what is it? The stock instrumental bit on the verse. You know, like the little drum beat that comes in when the verse starts. Yeah, it's stock.
Oh, is it?
But they use it to great
Kevin,
effect.
you fraud!
They use it to great effect, though.
I did not know that. I knew like some of the perk machines had stock music, which is why we don't have quick revive sound or like music anymore.
Yeah, I remember you saying. Such a shame.
But no, I didn't know. So what do you? I suppose we don't really hear Abracadabra anymore, but yeah, that's really interesting actually.
I only really know that because I've seen clips of people like. Especially on Reddit, like talking about TV shows they're watching, and they'll be using like the same audio snippet of just the drums.
You'll have to try and like next time you see something like that, you have to send it to me.
I will do. If I find it again, I'll leave it in the description as well if you want to check it out.
That's incredible. I did not know that.
Like I said though, there's no complaints about that. I think it's used to great effect.
Oh yeah, for real. Just Kevin is clearly a fraud.
Oh yeah. Don't, you'll get my soundtrack content taken down.
I bet Elena is AI.
Oh god.
Just a bit of disclaimer here, they're not.
Bit too early for that, I think. 2011.
Let's just briefly discuss the other bit of unique music for this one.
Oh, the loading screen music.
Yeah. I love the load. You called it in your kind of. I don't think it has a proper name, but you called it the Casimir mechanism, didn't you?
I believe so. That's a long time ago now.
Hi. I really love the Ascension one loading screen music. It's probably my favorite in general.
I don't think we've really talked about it with the other maps so much, but I really like the loading screen in general for this one. It's got such an, like, especially with the music.
The actual comic book one.
Aye, like, with the music and all that, it's just got such an ominous vibe to it. I really like.
Yeah, for real. I love how the rockets in the loading screen form 115.
Ah, yeah, I knew exactly where you were going when you said rockets.
I wouldn't say this, like, the music is my favourite. I wouldn't say this is my favourite looking loading screen, though.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
I'm almost considering Keynote for that one, to be honest with you.
What would you say is the worst one?
Oof.
Sorry to the artist who drew it, but I think mine might have to be Revelations.
See, now we're straying into poster territory. I'm thinking comic book ones. Like, if we're opening up that can of worms into all of them, oh god.
I just think that specifically on the Revelations one, like, premise looks so
Monty
weird.
With his, like, Monty with his, like, landing strip hair, where you can, like, land a Boeing 747 on it.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you on that one. In terms of the comic book one, probably, like, Shangri-La is just a bit out there.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't make a lick of sense in the context of the map.
No, not at all.
It's like we've got these pyramids and there's a tornado ripping through and blowing the focusing stone, I guess, or the the little crystals that we shoot. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's a bit out there.
Aye. We might have to incorporate the loading screen into these.
Oh, go for it. Yeah, that'd be great. Anything else to say about the music?
There is this map does have a different backing track, so it's not damned for this one.
Okay.
It's not unique though. I believe it's reused from World at War.
Okay. You honestly, I don't. Other than the kind of like, I don't want to say drum beats, but like the knocking noise or whatever you want to call it in the track. I don't know if that's just general ambience or if that is actually part of the background music for this map.
Thinking of it off the top of my head and based on how I remember it, I believe it's part of the music. There is kind of like a knocking sound in the music, I think.
Yeah, like that's the only bit that really stands out to me. Like same with Shangri-La. Like I never kind of heard that one's background one.
Oh yeah, Temple of Death.
That
one's pretty good. I quite like that one. I think Call of the Dead is the first map to use a unique one.
Yeah, I mean you love. We'll get onto that one, but I know how much you love Cold Wind Blows.
Oh yeah, it's top notch. I'm having to fight the urge to go into it, but I'm not going to.
We'll get there. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
It's one episode potentially away. So.
Stay strong, brother. We've already touched on it. Let's move on to the other section. We've already kind of mentioned them, but let's talk about the poster for this map. This is the first map to have its own proper poster.
Oh yeah.
I both love and hate this one. But it's not even Richtofen. They confirmed it. Like they said it's not Richtofen. Apparently it's Gersh, and that's why I hate it.
It's like, why would it be Gersh? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Gersh is already gone by the time this map takes place. He never met with the other three. Unless it's supposed to be like the comic book loading screens with the actual comic book they brought out. Unless it's supposed to be those where it's like alternate history events or something.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
We're gonna have to talk about the comic book at some point.
I don't even have it. I'd have to find a way to get a hold of it. No.
I'll tell you what. I'll give them a read through, and then I'll mail them to you to borrow.
That's alright. I don't mind buying them. It's all good.
Okay. I think you can still buy them.
I'm assuming so.
Dark Horse Comics, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. That's pretty interesting to know, though. Yeah, I'll have to have a look through those and see if we can cover them at some point. Not entirely sure how we do it, considering it's not gameplay related, but I'm sure we'll find a way.
Yeah, we'll find a way.
Where do they technically fit? Is it Black Ops 4?
It's set between the events of Black Ops 3 and 4.
Right.
It takes place like in similar time.
Right, okay.
Christ alive, do not go on eBay if you're trying to get yourself the whole anthology. £491.
Jeez. Alright.
It might be cheaper for me to lend them to you.
You may not be wrong.
I'm
sure there'll be someone might have archived a digital copy of it somewhere.
There'll be somewhere. I mean, you could always listen to Daleks or...
No, I will not listen to those impressions. I'm sorry. I know I've just severed the potential contact, but there you go. No, I couldn't. I tried once and I had to do it on mute. I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the impressions.
Oh my god. Just going back to the poster, one of the things I really love is that every character has a wonder weapon.
Yeah. Dempsey has the thunder gun, doesn't he?
No.
No?
Gersh has the thunder gun. Dempsey's got the Wonder Wolf.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got there.
Do you remember what Takeo has?
God, it's like that quiz all over again. Oh god, I don't. Not off the top of my head. Nikolai, I can't even visualize on the poster, but I know he's there.
So Nikolai's got the ray gun, and Takeo's got the Winter Towel.
Right. Well, guess who died first?
Honestly, it's probably like this poster's probably like my favorite look of Dempsey. He looks so badass.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's the only part of it other than Gersh in quotes that I remember. So.
I mean, he's forefront on the poster, so it's not a surprise.
Aye. Did they have any monkeys on it?
Yeah. There's monkeys and there's Nova Crawlers as well. Like, they're all in the background.
Oh, right, okay. Breaking canon with those Nova Crawlers.
I know, right? It honestly is definitely a solid poster. Probably one of my favourites.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I'm sure we've mentioned it before, but I would love to have any number of the posters and own them.
I got them... They're packed away somewhere, but I got, like, most of them off of eBay, like, from, like, third-party printers.
Aye. I mean, you know, if Treyarch won't offer them themselves, then I have no problem buying them off third-party printers.
Needs must, as they say.
Aye.
So shortly before recording, you and I both watched the trailer just to remind ourselves of it for this map, and you and I both said like how we were surprised at how short it was.
Yeah, exactly. It comes in at what, 30 seconds? Something like that. I'll leave a link to it in the description.
Enough for a skippable ad.
Oh god.
Sorry.
I mean, it's funny you say that, because it'd be the one ad I probably wouldn't skip. Advertise me zombies trailers and I won't skip them.
Yeah, no, it's really cool little trailer. I love how like the kind of cheesy voice over that they got with him.
Oh yeah, and Dempsey trying to fight off the monkeys with a spawn like a M19.
Yeah. While the announcer is like saying like, and send their hairy asses back to space.
Quality.
Oh, so good.
I do miss that goofy tone they used to have.
Yeah. Well, we've gone like from like tastefully goofy now to obnoxiously goofy.
Yeah, trying too hard.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking buttheads.
Oh god. God.
let's. You briefly wanted to just talk about the character models.
Oh, yeah. So, for those who have played it, they'll know that this map has slightly altered versions of the Ultimus characters' costumes, which is pretty cool. The more Richtofen has his moon outfit, which I guess is fair enough. It makes sense given the setting and whatnot. But the other characters' outfits are like kind of bloodied up a bit, which is just an interesting change because it's completely inconsistent with the following maps.
Yeah.
Shangri-La
I know you...
has the default again, doesn't it? And Moon.
Yeah.
What were you saying, sorry?
I was just gonna... two things I was gonna ask you. Firstly, I know you kind of like really hate Dempsey's character model render in Black Ops 1.
Yeah.
Am I misremembering this, or like did you say something that there was like this particular character model actually looks better or worse? Like the Ascension one looks better or worse than the Kino one?
I haven't looked. I haven't looked at the Ascension one yet because I would like you'll only know this obviously, but when I was doing the post, I ended up just using the thumbnail. I only ended up using Nikolai and Richtofen, so I haven't had a chance to look at it. But if I had to guess, I'm assuming it's using the same one.
Okay,
that'd be my guess.
You'll have to get back to me. Like if you do ever have a look, I'll have to compare like the Kino version to the Ascension version.
Because I sent you a picture of him, didn't I? It's like the textures for Dempsey are just extremely muddy on this game. I'm not entirely sure why.
Yeah, like he looks worse than he does in World at War.
He looks worse than literally every other character in the game. That's not even a joke. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they all look a bit rough. You can tell that the Ultimus characters are just, it's just World at War models that they've moved over. But most of them have been at least brushed up a little bit, but it doesn't look like... Dempsey's just looks worse. I just don't know how.
It's funny you should say that. Like, that was my exact reaction seeing like, Dempsey's updated model between Black Ops 3 and 4. I hate Dempsey's, like, new model in Black Ops 4 compared to his Black Ops 3 version. It looks horrible.
Which version?
He just can't take a break, can he?
No. Which version? Ultimus Optimus?
The Primus version.
Right, yeah. It does look a bit different.
He looks like he's had, like, some work done.
He does, yeah.
Bit of lip filler.
Just a
Maybe
bit.
He had his cheeks taken up a bit.
Yeah, there's definitely some cosmetic surgery going on in between games.
Oh yeah, for real. The second thing I was going to ask you is, I know we're not talking about Chronicles properly here, but like, do you prefer that Richtofen's in his spacesuit, or do you like that they kind of changed that in Chronicles back to his normal outfit?
I'll prefer, I think, that he gets it in Ascension.
Yeah?
Yeah, because there is a quote in Moon where he references the fact that he already has one. Where he's like, I've got my own.
Right, okay.
So it only really makes sense, context-wise, for him to have picked it up in Ascension now, because they've kind of locked that in with the quotes.
That's fair. I mean, I think I personally prefer his usual outfit. The spacesuit always seemed a bit out there for me.
Yeah, I mean, either way it works, because isn't the Chronicles version supposed to be technically like an alternate history version of it? It's not exactly the same. Yeah. So I guess it doesn't really matter so much that he doesn't wear it. I'm assuming he just picked it up after the Easter egg instead of before. If I had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's I mean, in general, it just seemed a bit out there when I saw it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense with the setting, but I get where you're coming from.
I think I especially have learned to dislike it even more now, ever since the revelation about the poster. That's not Richtofen.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
And I'm just like, what is the point then?
Yeah. No, I get you. I'll tell you what though, one funny bit of trivia actually. Well, it's not trivia. Just one funny little thing that I always think of when I see him in his spacesuit. Every single time I imagine him in that spacesuit, is doing the hacker pose where they're really like hunched over the terrible posture.
Yeah.
That always comes to mind when because I remember when Moon first came out and standing in the doorway while someone's hacking your points, and Richtofer's just dropping like dirty innuendo after dirty innuendo while sitting there hunched over with the hacker.
It's so out of pocket. You just really would not. I mean, I can totally understand like why people weren't a fan of them in Classified because of how nerfed they were.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, they were so like cancelable in Black Ops 1.
They really were.
Oh my god. Do you have any other like? Do you want to like go into your closing comments for Ascension?
Yeah. So overall, yeah, I really enjoy Ascension. I certainly agree with what you said.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a top tier map, if not one of the best, if not the best, in objectively speaking. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing this one, and it was a blast again doing the Easter egg with you for the first time on this one. It's definitely been a highlight for sure. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, like Ascension's like one of my favourite maps. If not, well, yeah, definitely one of my favourite maps. If not my favourite map of Black Ops 1. I really enjoyed doing the Easter egg for the first time. It was so kind of liberating to finally get it done. The music's great, the vibe is great. I can't genuinely, aside from the monkeys, I genuinely cannot find a fault with Ascension. I think it's a really kind of like, you know how they say put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it felt like for the DLC season. For Black Ops 1.
Oh, 100%. Just a quick question, actually. How would you feel if Ascension had been the launch map?
Oh, I don't know. It honestly depends on like what it launched with. Like, would it have launched with the Easter egg? Would it have launched with PhD? And
True.
Like, I'm guessing it would have launched with the Thunder Gun, but like, I genuinely cannot envision a world of what it would be like if that was the case.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so kind of used now to kind of thinking that Kino and then 5 come before it, so it would have been interesting, I think.
Aye.
But I like how it kind of felt like how it all kind of panned out anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's just weird to think that in, like, you know, it was one decision away from Ascension potentially being your Kino deterrent. If they just...
Oh,
go on.
No, you first.
I was just going to say, if they just decided in the end to, you know, put Ascension out instead of Kino, like, how different things might be.
Yeah, for real. I find it quite interesting that they delayed Ascension to DLC 1 because of the scope and size of it, but they didn't do anything similar with Transit.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Transit received the same treatment as Ascension did, how different that would be.
True, yeah. I've never heard any stories like about Die Rise originally being a launch map, so I'm assuming it'd be something totally different if they'd moved Transit.
Yeah, and like Transit is, you can see how that is the launch map. They kind of engineered it that way.
Yeah.
And in a sense, you can kind of see how Ascension could be a launch map.
Yeah. I think what probably happened with Transit, you know, is they just ran out of time, so they just had to commit to it. I'm assuming that's the case.
They stripped that back so hard. I would love to see like a Transit fully realised.
Well, you're in luck. The rumour mill says that Black Ops 7 is starting with a Transit remake.
You know what? Like, I've heard so many like Transit remakes these days. It's like
every
it's like
game,
a bad joke.
Every single game so far has started with a rumour of a Transit remake. It's ludicrous.
Gonna get a whole new generation theorising about Bus Route B.
Aye.
But we'll save our thoughts for Transit when we get to it, which will be very soon, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Well, do you have anything else you want to cover?
No, I think that's it.
Okie dokie. Well, next episode we are going to cover the second DLC for Black Ops 1, Call of the Dead, and my first DLC. And the episode after that, we're thinking either Shangri-La or, dependent if he's finished it or not, the second half of Dark Souls, being as Josh is now in the end game for it. So we've just got the one more boss, the DLC, and then the final boss to do, and then we're done with Dark Souls. So we'll see where we go. We'll know probably closer to the time when Shang is out. So stay tuned to see what we ramble about next. And from me, once again, thank you to Trico and Oscar for your amazing help. You guys are brilliant, and I think I speak for both of us that Josh and I very much look forward to do more Easter eggs with you in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Could not agree more with any of what you said. Just winding back quickly to the Dark Souls thing, just a quick plug. Again, go check out that video, the live stream for the Dark Souls one, because that's pretty fun to watch. I had a few laughs watching it back. Definitely say it's worth checking out. I might link to it in the description as well. We'll see.
Cool.
But yeah, just moving on to closing comments then. As usual, feel free to check out we're on a few more platforms now. We've got Twitter, because I refuse to call it X, and and we're also on Bluesky now. If you want to reach out on there, if that's more your preference. There's also a link to Ayden's Twitch in the description if you want to go and follow that, so you can see when we're streaming next. I believe you might be streaming tonight. But obviously, it's not going to be. We're not going to be able to see it on the video. But this is more me asking you.
As of recording this, which is on a Tuesday, I haven't quite decided yet if I'm going to do it tonight or if I'm going to miss it this week.
Right.
Just because I've been quite busy, but I will be streaming on Twitch. I generally stream on Twitch most Tuesdays, so around 7:30. British time. So yeah, give me a follow if you want to kind of sometimes Josh will be there, sometimes not. So but if you want to see some streaming, then feel free to give me a follow on Twitch.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, again, you can find the link in the description if you're interested. There's also the Discord, which is also in the description, and you can join that if you want to talk about zombies and various other things, other games, that sort of thing. And I think that's about it. Oh, well, actually, let us know what your thoughts on Ascension were as well, if you played it. I always skip that bit out every time. So yeah, just let us know what your thoughts and opinions are on it yourself. We'd be interested to hear from you. But I think that's about it, really. So we'll probably see you in the next one. See ya.